So I have the action camera set on top of my Logitech C920. I've not messed with any settings on anything. My webcam is set the way it's always set. I like the way it looks when there's good lighting. Right now I don't have very good lighting. But I've been going through the process of trying to get this camera set up. I wasn't sure how to connect to it via Wi-Fi. So it's set up as a WAS, so you have to connect to this point. So you lose your internet connection unless you're not connected to the network or whatever. Anywho, so this is the app that runs it. And this camera is the audio and the video from the 4K Akaso. I have it set to 1080p at 60 frames a second, just because by standard that's what I've been filming all my new stuff on. And then you disconnect, cancel. No, okay. Well, let's take a look, see what we can do on here. Settings, recording, cannot switch. All right, so let's kill the Akaso here. I'll take a look at the settings and then I'll pop back in here in a minute. You know, I'm actually pretty impressed so far. For $33, I've already gotten my money's worth. Like, if I can set this up to remote record and just be stationary, that'd be great. So let me just try one more time recording. Okay, so now I've got both cameras. See, now if I do this, I'm going towards this lens. If I go there, see, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm going to take these files out now, and I'm going to take a look at them. I'm going to bring them into Premiere and mess around with them a little bit and see what they look like. Now, I will say that this isn't the best lighting, but it's not the worst. I've got this light over here, which isn't even diffused anymore. I always used to diffuse it, but... All right. Let's go back to Jackass. All right. So connecting to the device is very easy. You basically just turn the device on with the power button in the front. Wait for it to power up. And there's no card in the camera right now, but if you hit down, it'll turn the Wi-Fi on and immediately start searching, waiting for a connection. Then you just basically take your phone, download the app, choose the right camera, there's only 2 to pick from, and you're connected. And it's that easy. It's pretty easy. There's not a lot of control over it after you get into it. But connecting was much easier than I thought it was going to be. I had read some horror stories about people who weren't able to connect their app and their phone for whatever reason. I had no problem whatsoever. It connected right away. All things considered, though, I mean, I might use that in the field. However, it's got a screen on the back, and I was just using it on like a little selfie stick a minute ago. And it was fine. Speaking of the selfie stick, here are some test shots that I took. Alright, so I'm going to take this on a few test shots here. Right now you're in the office with me where I've got a bunch of lights set up because I'm going to record my actual review, or at least my comments about the review after I get done taking these test shots. So this is a dark hallway we just went through. I'm walking up to my kitchen window and looking outside right now. Alright, and now we're going to actually go outside because it's really sunny out and outside. So the one thing I will say as we're walking around the yard is that the audio is awful on this thing. I mean, I wasn't expecting a lot when it came to audio, so it's not that big a deal, but I really want to see how it adjusts to lighting and going from inside and outside, and I just want to see if it's got any on-the-fly lighting adjustments or if it's just like screwed. So I'm going to turn this around now. Ooh, blue jay, beautiful blue jay. The screen is just, I don't know if it's because it's too light out, I can't see it or not, but, oh, it must turn the screen off so that it doesn't kill the battery. And it looked like it was okay. So that's doing a pretty good job. Like, the lighting underneath this bush here is not good. See a little strawberry? Anywho, and now we're in direct sunlight again, so it does appear like it does a good job at handling lighting changes, I guess. I don't know. We'll find out. Gonna go back inside. Gonna load this into Premiere. We'll take a look, and then I'll record my final review. And here's the end of the review. Hey. Hey. I think it looks pretty good, and the lighting adjustment worked really well from light to dark areas. The quality of the picture was pretty good. I'm happy with it for $33. I mean, that's fantastic. And I was walking around, too, a lot of those shots. I don't know that it, in fact, has no stabilization in it. It must have something in it, because it looked a little too smooth. I mean, it didn't look like, you know, it was on a steady cam or anything, but it looked good enough. And I imagine if you're, you know, dirt biking it up or whatever you do with your action cam sport thing, I think it would do a fine job. I mean, if you just need something to get into the world of action cams, $33 is... The layout is really intuitive. I didn't even have to look up the menu to figure out. I just basically played around with the buttons, and it basically, you know, it was self-explanatory. They could have maybe just put a 1/4-inch thread on there instead of all these other mounts that you need. I did decide that I would pick out the ones that I would actually think I would ever use. The strap ones I might use for like trees or something like that, but I can't think right now in my life when I would use those. The underwater, I'm dying to try. I've never had a camera that I felt comfortable putting underwater, so I think this would be really fun to play around with and adds a new dynamic to all these new episodes of shows we're doing. The bike mount, this may actually encourage me to get on my bike, because I could do a biking vlog, or I could film out in the woods and have motion to it. I don't know. I could see where this would be handy. This super handy when you attach this and this. I can clip this onto something, so wherever I need it to be. I mean, it's not the best clip in the world. I'd probably buy a better one if I was going to do something like that. I don't know if this stuff is standard with GoPro or not, so I can't say one way or the other. I didn't research it enough. I don't have a GoPro. I'm assuming so, though. I mean, all these mounts look standard to like GoPro stuff. I think. I've never actually looked at the GoPro stuff, but I see that a lot, so I assume. The watch, as shitty as this is, I could strap it to like a backpack strap, which is probably what I'll do. And then I can just tap the buttons from there if I really need to do it remotely. But most of the time, I don't know. Actually, I don't know if most of the time I would actually have it physically within reach or not. Might be handier than I thought. And the last one, I still have to figure out how to attach these two. I'm sure it's just a pin I can take out of any of them. This is your standard 1/4-inch threading for like a DSLR or your point-and-shoot cameras, or a lot of different mounts. That's relatively standard, and I think that this is a cool feature, because this one I feel like I could mount to any tripod and angle it any way I really needed to, especially having the pivot there. I think that's pretty cool. I don't know that I'll use it, but having it there, it was one of the better ones. There's a lot of other little ones that I'm sure may come in handy, but I just don't know what they're for, and I'm not going to be using this for its intended purposes. There's not going to be a lot of action going on, if you know what I mean. If you know what I mean. All things considered, for $33, you'd be out of your mind if you were thinking about it to not get it. Like, this is definitely worth it. Will it stand the test of time? I don't know. It might die in 6 months, and I'll be eating my words or whatever. But for now, it's great. I might check out the 4K just to see how it looks. But if I've heard it's not actual 4K, they do something similar to checkerboarding, or I can't remember how they achieve their 4K resolution. But I've already been impressed with some of the things that other people said were no good on this camera. So I've got nothing bad to say about it. Well, I guess the audio, there's not a lot you can do for the audio. I wish I knew where the audio... I'll have to look that up to figure out where the actual microphone is recording, because it's very muffled. Oh, it's on the side here. Okay. Yeah, there's a little thing on the side. Okay, so... Well, I mean, another great option would have been able to run a microphone out of this, but I know that that's not something you would do with one of these cameras, so you wouldn't obviously do that standard. With what experience, limited experience I have with the cameras that I own, I mean, this is a trusty little camera. This is going to stay with me in my camera bag. There's no reason why I wouldn't. Look how small it is. Like,
throw it in the case, grab a few accessories. I already have the card, it's a tiny little card, you know what I mean? It'd be stupid not to bring it with you. There's always going to be a use for this. Even if you're just trying to capture B-roll, just set it up when you're recording your main vlog or documentary or whatever you're recording, and just stick this somewhere. I mean, if you're not a professional filmmaker and you're considering something like this, it's great for that second shot or a different angle. And if you're using Premiere, and I'm sure Final Cut and all those, they have a very easy way to synchronize audio. So I guess I should score it, because this is a Tuesday Day of Review finale episode for the Akaso. I can't fault it for the small problems it has. I'd give it like an 8.5. I think it's a great little camera. I don't know what people are talking about. Maybe they have better experiences with other GoPros or other action cameras, and compared to those, this is just not living up to it, which I could totally understand, because you're only paying $33 versus $300 to $500 for a GoPro. Like, all things considered, if it had better stabilization and a better microphone, this would be a killer camera. But other than that, it's okay. It's fun. It's a good B-roll camera. It's a good second angle camera. If you're into action sports, I can't recommend it, because I don't know how well it's going to handle. I walked around the yard and stabilization was okay, but you know, you'd have to test it for yourself. If you catch the lightning deal on Amazon.com and you're interested, you should definitely take the plunge and give it a whirl. You know, get a cheap little micro SD card and you're off and running. You already got 2 batteries and all these accessories that come with it. So thank you guys for coming back this week and checking out the second part of the Akaso 4K action camera. If you guys are loving watching these as much as I'm loving making them, please consider subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing. All those things help me out. And for God's sake, just hit the bell. Just hit the bell and you'll know when I put something new out. Which I'm trying to schedule these out. I've got now 4 ahead. So I've got 4 weeks ahead. Well, this is the past. And once again, I'm talking about the past in present, future tense. Something like that. Don't forget to make somebody smile tomorrow, and make yourself a better person tomorrow than you were today tomorrow. Let's make the world spin a little bit happier together. Let's sing and dance in the sun and in the rain as one, my brothers and sisters. Live life to the fullest and love every moment of it, because you just never know when that last moment's going to come for you. However, never live in fear of that moment. Always live in love. Live the adventure. Love the adventure. And never let that inner child die. Take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. And take care of those around you who can't take care of themselves, because they are the ones that need it the most. I'm Jason Oliveira. This is the podcast. It's Tuesday, Day of Reviews. And I'll see you guys in the next episode, just a little bit further on down the road. Take care, everybody.